Colonial Sports Center. It's absolute pandemonium as we're live at the UMPC Events Center for Madness. We'll have previews of the men's and women's basketball teams, as well as the sharpshooters from both the men's and women's teams as they take part in the three-point contest. The stage is set, and here we go. It's time for Madness on CSC.
Hello everyone and welcome inside the UMPC Events Center for this edition of Colonial Sports Center. I am Tyler Gallo alongside Jack O'Brien. And Jack, Madness once said our house is in the middle of our street. Well, our desk is currently in the middle of the Eaton Park Club at the UMPC Events Center for Madness. Jack, what is Madness, by the way?
Well, to give you and all the folks at home an insight on what Madness is, you remember Meet the Colonials. This is a brand new take on that usual expose of who the Colonials are this year, seeing who's on the men and basketball teams, men's and women's basketball team rosters. There will be games, prizes, food, and students. Yes, students back inside as we've been getting back to regular attendance at sporting events. We have it on display right here in the UMPC Events Center for Robert Morris Colonials Madness.
That's right, and we're ready to kick things off here. But Jack, you know, other sports were in action outside of basketball this week.
No, it were, exactly. Good point. So, after losing last week's barn burner to Northern Alabama, the Colonials were looking to set their sights on Gardner-Webb to get back in the win column. And the Colonials were looking to kind of get a good start to the game, but the Bulldogs had other plans in mind. Starting out the game, the Bulldogs would jump out to a 21-0 lead in the first quarter, leading 14-0 on a fumble recovery. And the Colonials had to fight back from that 21-0 deficit. And they did, scoring 17 points of their own in the form of an Anthony Purge 2-yard touchdown run, Nick Bisceglia with a 39-yard field goal, and James Weststreet catching a 34-yard touchdown pass from George R.R. Martin. Martin would finish. The Colonials would then lose the game, though, 28-17. Martin finished the game 25-45 with 202 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Colonials' next game is at home against Hampton.
Take a look at the stats here. I mean, like we saw, George Martin really aired the ball out, as he has been over the last couple of weeks. But unfortunately for the Colonials, their rushing attack was subpar once again. Just 5 net rushing yards all game long. The reason they're not winning these games is because they can't find a happy balance between them, and the other teams are really pouncing on that, Jack.
No, I think they are. And this is the thing. Gardner-Webb's defense played a tremendous game. 6 sacks, a fumble recovery for a touchdown early in the first quarter to have them jump out to that early lead. And then the 3 interceptions as well. The Gardner-Webb defense was just a bit too much for the Colonials to handle this weekend.
That's right. If they call them the running Bulldogs, they'll call the Colonials the passing Colonials. But we'll move over to volleyball, who is in action again. Another Midwest swing as they try to close out their season on a high note. They headed to Oakland at the O-Arena for the volleyball match between them and the Golden Grizzlies. See how they did there? You know, it was a tough match. They got 3-0'd once again. Jessica Riedel with 12.5 points, 12 kills. But in that match, there wasn't all things that were bad, as Nicolette Zanoli joined the 1,000 Dig Club here at RMU as the Colonials fell by a score of 3-0.
Moving on to volleyball's next game of the season, the Colonials up until this point have lost 5 straight matches. Something even worse, they have yet to win a set in those 5 matches, losing 3 sets to nothing. The Colonials were looking to change that against the Cleveland State Vikings, and they were looking for a response. And a response came in winning those first 2 sets quite handedly, as the Colonials took an early 2-0 set, but then would lose the next 3 straight sets to lose in 5 games. However, their first game to be pushed to 5 sets in six contests shows you a bit of resiliency that this team has. Annie Monaco had 16 kills and led the team, while Elena Carmody had 21 defensive digs, and Emma Granger and Ashley Wallen combined for 4 blocks each. The Colonials moved to 9-15 on the season and 2-10 in the conference, with their next game coming at Purdue-Fort Wayne, in which they lost the last meeting 3-1.
That's right, a bit of a reverse sweep in that match, but another team that also played Cleveland State was the women's soccer team. Now, the women's soccer team, once again, another team trying to close their season on a high note. They look to conquer the Vikings in this matchup. Could they do that, or would it still be rough seas for the soccer team? See there, 2-0, a tough one. Just 4 shots in the game by Chelsea Kingston. No one else had more than 2 for RMU. Of course, Maya Ransom and Catherine Ramacone cashed in for the Vikings in that one as they won 2-0. Bella Bola made 5 saves, but nothing really more they could do in that one as they fell in that match by a score of 2-0.
looking to close out their season completely with their last game of the season against Youngstown State. Women's soccer was looking to cap off their season, winning their 6th game of the season to move to a 6-10-3 record and also 2-6-3 in the conference. Would the Colonials be able to topple the Penguins, one of my favorite mascots that the Colonials face year-round? We'll head to the graphics to see if they did, and they would. The Colonials lost 2-0 to Cleveland State last game. They were scoreless through 2 halves, so it required overtime. The Colonials had 3 ties going into this game. They were not looking to have another, and that is exactly what happened. The Colonials will win in the first overtime. Haley Finale with the season finale, and her 6th goal of the year gives the Colonials an uplifting win to end their season. The Colonials have not won more than 6 games since 2015 in women's soccer, but they've made sure to get that 6th win here, having 11 shots on goal. 12 shots on goal with the YSU keeper making 11 saves with a strong closeout to the season.
Now, in that situation, you talked about, most wins in 2015. Another team that's currently in the thick of things and really turned around was the men's soccer team, who currently sits just on the outside looking into the postseason picture. Now, they headed to Moon Town to see if they could have some sweet music against the Detroit Mercy Titans, or would they remain in the gutter once again? Let's see how they did, if hoping to earn a result. And they did. They tied. 0-0 tie, a couple of shots, couple of saves for the goaltenders. I mean, really nothing on the side of Detroit Mercy. Just 1 shot for Charlie Lawrence. Really a very defensive-minded battle as the Colonials stay right in the middle of the postseason picture. They got a couple of games remaining this weekend as they look to clinch their first postseason berth since the NEC semifinals in 2017.
Well, don't go anywhere. After the break, we're going to be taking you down to the court to get a live look in at the madness. You won't want to miss any of that here on Colonial Sports Center.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? You ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Welcome back here inside the UPMC Events Center. Once again, Tyler Gallo alongside Jack O'Brien here for Colonial Sports Center here at Madness. Now, it's been so great, Jack, seeing the fans back. They've already packed the stands here in the Event Center. There was no fans the entire season last year and really left a cliffhanger after the NEC Championship game.
Well, no, it takes me back to the last time that I was in this building as a fan in that 2020 NEC Championship.
I was next to you, Jack.
Exactly, you were. And that's the thing. We've been looking to get back to that atmosphere and that environment for so long. And this is the first taste that this campus has really seen, the first taste that basketball has had in over a year or so.
And also first taste of RMU fans that the basketball teams have had. Most of them are new players coming to campus for the first time.
No, exactly. You're getting a new team, a couple of new fans. It's a brand new atmosphere in an almost brand new building that the Colonials haven't really been able to utilize all that much due to the pandemic. So
right.
I think it's a great atmosphere to come back, and especially to have it right here in the UPMC Events Center. It's going to be a great night with a lot of high energy.
That's right, and the man that'll bring the high energy for us is PA announcer Adam Gusky. We'll send it down to him as he gets ready to do in just a little bit. We'll send it down to him as he does the introductions. But Jack, I mean, talk a little bit about these basketball teams over last year. Really just a tough year altogether for them.
Yeah, no, and we talked about it as this year was going on. A lot of cancellations due to COVID and just kind of like the trials and tribulations that came with the pandemic. It was hard to kind of get a flow of any kind of flow going on, especially as you're progressing to a season. You can even win a couple games, but once you have these cancellations come in, we had 8 cancellations over the season. that really puts a damper, and these roadblocks are hard to overcome, especially for a team with a lot of new guys, people transferring in and out. It's hard to mesh together as a team when you don't have that game experience.
Yeah, it was really just troubled waters all season long for these two teams. But, you know, the problem with that is they got a bunch of new players coming in this year. We don't know how they're going to be, but last year, obviously, you know, for men's basketball, they lost, I believe it's 10 or more, or 5 games, I believe, by 5 or less points. That really could have spelled their season in a different direction, but they ended up only winning 4 games total.
No, and that's the thing. What that shows you about this team is resiliency, and that they're going to fight for every game. They're going to fight to the horn, and that's something that the Colonials have kind of embodied. They embodied it the last time that they had one of the most successful seasons ever, going to the NEC Championship.
Right.
And to leave on such a high note and get brought back to earth to where, like, you're in a new conference, it's really like you're trying to make a name for yourself. It's not easy, and I don't think the conditions around the Colonials made that any easier. Conditions around the world.
Oh, not at all. It left a sour taste in the mouths of fans wanting to come back in and see, you know, that atmosphere. I mean, I've talked to so many people that just say that game is one of the best things they've experienced here on campus. And they're looking to get back to that this year, and they certainly have the talent to do it. At least men's does. Women's basketball, again, if they can put it all together, a bunch of new players on their team, a bunch of freshmen as well. And, they got one transfer in from junior college, Asha Klopfenstein, out in Dawson Community College. They got a bunch of freshmen coming in, and they've got a couple of returners as well. Nina Augustin returning for her extra season, so it's really going to be a special year for both squads, hopefully.
Yeah, some familiar faces, but also some new kids on the block, and we'll see how they're able to mesh with their first full season back in this building and kind of being able to really embody that team aspect. I think it's going to be a different year for RMU basketball in general.
Yeah.
I think this is the year they really take that extra step forward in the new conference.
Right, and they've got a non-conference schedule of benefit this time. They got to go in, really just get thrown right into the Horizon League play. So, you know, the man that's going to bring the energy here, the energy's already loud in here, we'll send it down to PA announcer Adam Gusky, who has the lineups for both squads. a special introduction, and it was pretty loud in here too. I really appreciated that whole little get-up down there. That was awesome.
No, that was great. You saw it. You saw the energy in the room. The players kind of showing some personality as they come through the tunnel. It's all great. I mean, this is what it's all about, trying to get this atmosphere back to the way it was. And I think this is a great starting point. You get to see the teams get to come interact with you. I know there were some t-shirts being thrown towards the end. The coaches came out with a lot of energy. It's just all around, it's been great.
I think it's setting the stage for the crowd to be bigger as the season goes along in here. But when we come back, some dimes will be dropping here at the UPMC Events Center. We've got the three-point contest. Stay tuned here on Colonial Sports Center.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
we discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Once again, we're here in the UPMC Events Center, and the two teams that call this place home, two main teams, of course, played here last season without fans, and the one team that started off the season, really tough, didn't win their first, I believe it was 9 games, and they finally knocked off Right State for a couple, was women's basketball. Let's take a look at the season recap from that. Season for women's basketball, it was really just a tough one. 4-13, 4-12, or 4-13 overall, 4-12 in conference. Didn't have a non-conference schedule that much. Really went to the playoffs and were thoroughly dispatched by Northern Kentucky. The third time they lost to them all season long. The two bright spots, though, Sol Castro really came into her own as the year went along. She started off a bit slow and then all of a sudden really just rattled off a couple of double-digit point efforts in a row. Esther Castillo, of course, continuing her solid presence on the roster, Jack.
No, yeah, and I think an important thing to pay attention to is kind of the points per game here. The Colonials were known for having more of a high-flying offense coming into this season, and you saw that kind of degrade a bit with the fact that, it was hard to really, when you're losing your first 8 games of the season, it's hard to really find yourself on the court and find that space and time you need to really put those numbers back up. The shooting percentage also kind of stands out to me as a bit low, and I think that I'll say it again. I think this season poses a great opportunity for both teams to kind of get back to their winning ways and find that time and space, especially with the atmosphere around them.
That's right, and it's good that they have some players returning to come back for us. Nina Augustin for her 5th season coming back here, the Finland native, and then, of course, Esther Castillo and Natalie Villaflor both coming back, of course, and then, of course, Mackenzie Amelia and Sol Castro returning from last season as well. It's going to be an interesting season and a new team to watch out there on the court. They're going to be it's going to be a fun year for this team as they get started in a couple of weeks at St. Bonaventure.
No, yeah, and then, you take a look at the schedule, they're going to have their battles, but let's move on and transition into the men's season because we talked about how they were never able to really find a rhythm as we take a look at the recap from last year. A.J. Brahma's departure, leaving a large hole in this roster, averaging 21 points a game and about 10 rebounds. Filling those shoes is going to be a problem, but the Colonials have someone in mind to fill that spot exactly, don't they?
That's right, and they've got plenty of players to really fill that. You're not going to get a double effort every night from just any. They have to fill all these players in, and that's why Andy Toole has gone to work. He's imported some great talent onto this roster. I'm looking at Farron Flavors, who came in from Oklahoma State, Justin Winston, who can shoot really, really well from St. Bonaventure. He's going to translate well from the Atlantic 10. And then, of course, Rasheem Dunn, another graduate student out of St. John's, who spent a little bit in the Horizon. He didn't play that much when he was with Cleveland State. Actually didn't play at all because he sat out due to transfer rules and went to St. John's. So he's going to be a special player. It's going to be a special season for this team. I'm banking on this team having a much better season than last year.
No, and it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that this newfound success the Colonials may find it kind of rides on the shoulders of these new players, whether they be transfers or freshmen. It's going to be kind of that next man up mentality because of the hit that you take with a guy averaging a double-double departing for another team. But, I mean, all being said, the Colonials have we said that they battled. They battled hard every game, losing how many games by 4 or 5 points. If that identity can be instilled in this new roster, you'll see a different product on the court.
That's right, and missing 3 of their probably most important players over the last 3 years that have moved on to greener pastures. Of course, Dante Tracy, who is the NEC Tournament MVP, moved on to UNC Greensboro after initially committing to Radford. Of course, A.J. Brahma to Nevada, and then John Williams graduated. John Williams last year, by the way, impressed in his final season, went out on a high note, averaged nearly 10 points a game, probably his best season as a Colonial.
No, it's you can definitely say so. And you saw that a lot, that his brother, Josh, was really like one of the guys who stood out among those 2 brothers. But John really came into his own, showed that he can kind of hold his own, put some points up for himself. Bittersweet to see those guys go, but as we say, we're looking towards the future, much like the Colonials are.
And one thing that maybe happens this season, I mean, we're about to see a bunch of threes, but a bunch of threes, a three-point record he held it for about 15 minutes was Josh Williams when he set it against Mount Aloysius, and then it was broken, like, I think the next day. But, you're not going to replicate, or he tied it, and he's not going to replicate it, but it's going to be tough to replicate that, like Brahma. Like you said, they lose Brahma, they lose Williams, they lose Bain, and of course, they come into this year without Tracy, who is their probably best assist man on the team. So it's going to be tough, but they got, as long as all the players that they brought in, and guys that are returning, Cam Ferris, Khalil Spear, all this happens. So we are going to send it down to the 3-point contest in just a bit. It's going to be a special moment for these to sort of endear themselves to the fans a little bit, Jack.
No, yeah, and again, we talked about how the players have kind of been showing some personality coming out of the tunnel, kind of like hyping up the fans as well. And we take a look at who's in it. Farron Flavors Jr. is going to be in it for the men's team, as well as Justin Winston. And then you have Mackenzie Amelia and Nina Augustin for the women's team. A lot of good shooters.
That's right. We saw the pick and pop ability of Mackenzie Amelia. I'm thinking of that game against Purdue Fort Wayne, where she all of a sudden out of nowhere, I think she dropped 20 points where she just kept hitting threes back and forth. And then Nina Augustin, of course, has been one of the most consistent players from the outside and in the lineup for the Colonials. And it's getting loud in here right now as we are looking at this contest. Again, Augustin and Amelia. Augustin on the right, Amelia on the left. They're both shooting, both of them clanging off the rim. And then you got Flavors and Winston. Flavors is up the middle and Winston on the left. All of them are shooting. A couple of them are sinking it in here. We'll see who moves on to the next round as both of them will take on each other. They're just warming up, though, so not all for the marbles yet, Jack, but we got some guys that can shoot pretty well. I've heard that Justin Winston, I mean, if you can see it on the screen there when he shoots again, he's got an interesting shooting form, but it somehow works. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's a quick release at the end, but got to say, guys just going out there getting loose, making sure they're able to have the dexterity, make sure you don't pull anything. God forbid, no one wants an injury this time in the year. But no, yeah, we're looking to have a good spectacle, a great showing of shooting, for lack of a better term, but not a lack of alliteration. Yeah, so it's going to be one special moment as you see Nina Augustin here. Talk a little about her. She's one of the people that probably most of the people here will know because she's been here for the past 5 years. She's been one of the, like I've said 1,000 times already today, one of the most consistent players in and out of the lineup and one of the most notorious free throw shooters on the roster. So it looks like we're about to start it off. Like we said, Amelia and Augustin, the A squared out there, and then of course you got Flavors and Winston going at it on the other side. We'll see who comes out on top. Again, the winner of the first round will move on to face the winner of the other side. So they're both winners, one winner on the men's side, one winner on the women's side. Here's Nina Augustin. She misses the first one. And she can shoot from the outside. She's got a pretty quick release there. She makes one. And, having a trouble here a little bit, Jack. No, yeah, but you know what? It's just about feeling out that shot when you're in that one spot for a while, and you'll see these players start to click towards the end, I think, of these shot racks. Really be able to pot a couple more towards the end.
First couple shots really just getting that depth perception down. You'll see a couple off the back of the rim, but she's been putting them away as far now. Like I said, call me Nostradamus, but Nina Augustin finishes with a strong effort. Last
season, these two players were in the top on the team in three-point shooting. Mackenzie Amelia, 35.1% from beyond the arc, and then like you saw, Nina Augustin just had 31.3% from beyond the arc. This is a team that really struggled shooting the ball to the outside, maybe shot a little too much, especially in the first couple games of the season, but we're going to see that pick and pop ability right now of Mackenzie Amelia, who was on CSC last week talking about this and said that she can't wait to get in front of fans, can't wait to shoot, and she's shooting right now. We'll see how well she does. Again, really quick, almost just draining it right in there. Look at that, just straight into the hoop.
Yeah, more or less like a Steph Curry-esque approach, just grab it and go. Not really taking your time with it, having that ability, like you said, that pop and
look
pull.
how fast she's moving. That's just a machine right there.
No, you know what? It's kind of like, I don't know if it's Boston Dynamics or not, but the one that just makes half-court shots. I'd like to see Mackenzie Amelia and the Boston Dynamics robot go head-to-head.
Yeah, that'd be impressive. And like as you saw there, the team celebrates with her local player, Beaver Falls native Mackenzie Amelia. I believe she's moving on to the next round. And now we'll see how the men's side does. Like we said, 2 transfers. Justin Winston from St. Bonaventure, who's a player that we're going to really look at this year. And then, of course, Farron Flavors Jr. from Oklahoma State. We'll see how Justin Winston does. By the way, we'll have him in a little bit, Ethan Morrison, sitting down with Mackenzie Amelia. But he'll take it now as he sits down with her for the second straight week. Ethan, take it away.
All right, we were having some technical difficulties. We'll get you back down to Ethan Morrison courtside momentarily, but as of right now, we're going back now to Ethan Morrison. Take it away, Ethan. Oh wait, no, we're not.
So Winston's shooting right now. Justin Winston, I've heard he's broken records in practice from three-point shooting. I mean, look at this guy right now, just absolutely draining them from outside. He misses one on the last one. But look at that last one right there. Oh, just missed. But that was a nice performance there from the guy out of St. Bonaventure, a team in the Atlantic 10. What are you looking at for him this year, Jack?
What I'm looking at for him is precisely that. Some more outside shooting, a bit more consistency in the shooting. I mean, men's team put up a 44% shooting percentage last year, and, you know, this is a guy who's going to get you those points late in the game. This guy's going to take those shots and be able to make them and maybe overcome that 4 or 5 point deficit. And this is a great showing because this is the first time the fans are getting to see these two transfer guys and see what they have and what their skill set encapsulates.
Guy that averaged 9 points a game as a member of the Bonnies, so we'll see how that translates over the Horizon League. Now we've got Farron Flavors Jr., who in 2019 shot 43.9% from beyond the arc, and we'll see how he carries over that prowess here. Well, he misses the first one, but gets the second one, and he'll get on a roll here. Just look at this, straight down the middle. He is nailing them from up top, Jack.
No, draining them straight down the pipe. You know, when you've got that full backboard to look at, maybe Eamon's a bit not as hard as from the side, but he's not using that glass at all whenever he's putting them in. This is nothing but
impressive.
net.
Robert Lawfer, the manager, having to move very fast to put the balls back on the rack for him as he's just throwing them up there. Did not hit the last one, and we'll see who moves on to the next round. For that one, I believe it's going to be Winston moving on. It's going to be Winston versus Amelia in the next round, and that's going to be a spectacle there, Jack.
No, yeah, it will. Again, two very talented shooters, and we've talked to the degree that these players can put these shots up, and the consistency in what they can do in doing so.
And you know what's crazy, Jack? No, those guys involved were not even the best player on the roster in three-point shooting last year. Cam Ferris, at a ridiculous 46.1%, nailed them from the outside. He developed his reputation as a dead-eye shooter from outside in a couple of games and really impressed as a freshman. So we'll see how they do here up top. Again, Amelia and Winston moving on to the next round. Adam Gusky down there with Mackenzie Amelia talking right now. She says she'll go second. It looks like Justin Winston's going to go first, and we'll see how he brings that interesting shooting for him to be here in that last round.
Yeah, and another thing when we're talking about like what you're looking for out of these two guys is that they can complement that three-point shooting.
Yeah.
Hello. They can complement that three-point shooting that was so high last year, and it's just more or less you're adding offensive weapons to this roster. It's something the Colonials don't have a lack of, but it's good to have too much of a good thing in this case.
Yeah, so here he's shooting now. He's surrounded by his teammates. Missed a couple of them, and then he gets one out of the way. He's got two right now. Just, you know, he was really draining them in the first half, and then now he's just sort of struggling from the outside.
There's 3. I mean, maybe it's more the switch up from going straight down. Oh, wait, no, that was Blavers who went straight down. Excuse me. But no, he's been able, again, it's more or less, I feel like they're able to find their rhythm later on. In those first couple of shots, they're just kind of feeling it out.
Right.
A strong showing by Winston.
And he hits 6 there, and we'll see how Mackenzie Amelia counters as she's going to get started now, shooting from that spot that she loves so much on the outside half of the court. We saw her pick and pop from out there several times all season long. When she did get in, remember, she didn't start off the season in the starting lineup, would come off the bench sporadically, and then really as players started to leave, like Isabella Posset left, Megan Callahan left, Holly Forbes were all leaving, she's going to be a really just important part of this roster. She's starting to drain
the pressure
them.
is on, and she's got 3 in a row. Strong start to the outing, but kind of tapering off. There's 4.
Much like the
5. There's all the misses have been pretty far off, but the ones that are in are dead on.
1 more to win it. Just missed that one, and here
got
is
5
the chance.
left.
5 left.
4
to shoot.
left. 3. It's going to come down to the last shot. Nope, that's it.
And she got it. Mackenzie Amelia wins the 3-point contest, mobbed by her teammates down there, and shows who the best 3-point shooter on campus is, maybe? Mackenzie Amelia wins it by the skin of her teeth. Look at this shot right here. Just nails it. Dropping dimes. Mackenzie, she didn't even need to keep shooting. She got it in and she won it, and that was it. And was mobbed by her teammates, like I just said, Jack.
No, yeah. I mean, again, great show. Oh, wait. Great showing for the new fans and for the new players here on the Colonials roster. A great showing of skill and prowess.
That's right. Yeah, and we'll send it down to Ethan Morrison, who's sitting down with the winner.
Competition. Mackenzie, what's going through your mind right now?
Honestly, I'm just super pumped. Like, this is a great night and great to see fans and get a little glimpse of what our season's going to be like. And honestly, I just let the momentum come to me. I like the fans and the encouragement. I didn't have that last year, so it was a great thing to have this year.
Yeah, what's the feeling like right now? You know, first time fans are in the building. This is the first time for you. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. I mean, none of this was here last year. It was a silent building, just us and the coaches. So it's amazing to have some fans and hear the crowd cheering, and especially whenever they're cheering as I'm shooting.
All right, what are you most excited for about this season?
I honestly think it's like the fans and just having a normal season, getting back to basketball as we know it.
All right, thank you so much, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
Guys, so now I come to you.
Really a great performance there as the half-court shot goes on behind us. That's one of the promotions that's returning. That's one that's been here for all the time. I recall the 2019 NEC Championship game when that dude hit it from half-court and just ran up onto the scorer's table and got onto ESPN Top 10.
No, and you know what? That's what Top 10's all for, those big performances. Not that there was a larger performance going on or anything. That guy was definitely the highlight of the night. Yeah. But as we see here, I'm not sure if he made it or not, but if he did, that's a year of Chick-fil-A, a year of free Chick-fil-A meals.
He's going to try one more time to get it.
We'll see if he can make it, folks. This is groundbreaking, electrifying content here on Colonial Sports Center.
Will he make the half-court shot?
To which I am breaking my neck for, and he missed.
Good. Oh, just nearly had it right there.
That's tragic.
It's must-see TV, ladies and gentlemen, much like Colonial Sports Center every week. But yeah, it was a special performance out there. So we're going to send it down to the commercial break as we will be back here on Colonial Sports Center.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
To Colonial Sports Center, and as the festivities continue behind us, there's some games to be played this season for men's and women's basketball. We'll send it down to our resident Stephen A. Smith, Ethan Morrison, who has more.
Let's kick it off with the women's team. You know, very young team coming into this season. Only a few returning players. Forward Sol Castro and guard Mackenzie Amelia. They're going to be leading this team this year, along with fifth-year senior Nina Augustin as well. So they got a very young team this season, and are looking to they're ranked in the 9th in the preseason poll as of now. So they have a lot to prove coming into this season. And just looking at the schedule right now, they've got games against St. Bonaventure to kick off the year on Tuesday, November 9th. Then they're home against the Akron Simpsons for their home opener, and then some other key non-conference games, November 24th against Moorhead State. So a lot of non-conference games, get these younger players incorporated into the offensive defensive system, get ready for conference play. Starting earlier this year, I believe against Detroit Mercy to kick off this season, and going into this year, I mean, like I said, very young team, but they have a lot to prove, especially being ranked in the bottom third of the conference. Well, going on to the men's team, they have a lot of young pieces. I mean, they got a lot of new pieces this year. 14 players were on the team last year. Only 4 returned coming into this year. So, I mean, they got a lot of veteran talent. Veron Flavors, Rasheem Dunn, Khalil Spears returning. So, I mean, there is a lot of uncertainty with this team and how they will gel. That's the one question. Will they gel together? Will they play together as a team? We'll have to find out. They kick off the season November 10th against UCF, and then go right to Kentucky on November 12th. Then on November 15th, they play Ohio before they get their home opener against former NEC foe, Mount St. Mary's, on November 19th. Well, that's all I got for us. Let's send it back up to Jack and Tyler.
It's going to be interesting for both teams as they get their non-conference schedule underway in just over 2 weeks. We'll be back here on Colonial Sports Center.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my 3rd child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
As we welcome you back here inside the UPMC Events Center at the Eaton Park Club as the free throw contest is going on behind us. And what an impressive showing by Michael Green III, Jack.
No, gotta say, he was really tossing them up towards the end. I don't think he could miss one. And until he missed the one at the end,
Yeah,
but he
yeah,
had like,
he missed one.
he got
there
like,
goes my pen.
oh wow, he
shot it like he shot the free
he's
throw.
free throwing his pen all over the desk. But no, it's been great to have some fans come in, some fans take some shots. You get to see if you can be a walk-on maybe. I don't know.
I really hope this helps build the buzz around these teams going forward this year as we go along. We know that in the past teams, obviously the attendance has been a bit low at some games, obviously, scheduling aside, who cares about that? But it really, comes down to if the fans are enjoying it here, maybe they'll enjoy it as the season goes along. And it's certainly we've got a ton of characters on both of these teams, I think.
No, I know. I mean, you have a lot of personality in these teams, as we saw earlier on in the program. I think that can be related directly to the student body.
Right.
Be very personable, and especially with things like this, when you're integrating the two, it can only have great benefits. Right now, we're going to send it down to Ethan Morrison for another on-court interview. Take it away, Ethan.
Hey, I'm here with Rasheem Dunn. You know, Rasheem, you came here from St. John's. I mean, what's it like here? I mean, here with fans in the building.
I actually like the atmosphere, pretty new environment. You know, it seems like a family-oriented environment. I actually like it. You know, the crowd is in it. My first, Midnight Madness, and I'm liking it here. It's pretty decent. Having fun.
What are you most excited for about this season? I mean, a lot of veteran guys on this team, a lot to prove.
The best thing that I'm excited for is that, we got a lot of transfers here, and we worked hard throughout this whole year. We grind out with each other throughout the whole summer. I just want to get on the court with our guys and actually play on the court and see how we can feed off each other. And one thing I can say about this team is that we all push each other and all motivate each other to do and have the same goal and the same mindset. I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page and we want the same thing. That's the Horizon League Championship.
I mean, you've been a lot of places. You've been like Cleveland State for a year. You were with St. John's for 2. So you were all over the place. What makes Robert Morris so special?
So actually, before I actually went to St. John's and Cleveland State, my journey actually started at St. Francis BK. And before Rob Morris actually was in the Horizon League, they was in the NEC, which I was in the NEC as well. So me and Coach 2, me and him actually built a relationship throughout those times. And throughout my journey, skipping from school to school, I was actually still in contact with Coach 2. And it always been like family there. It was always more like we wanted what's best for me. And I feel like for my last year, getting my master's, this is the right school.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Rasheem.
Name that tune currently playing. I am just completely disappointed that no one recognized Welcome to the Jungle.
Gallo's incredibly beside himself on that one.
That is just unreal. I mean,
just heated up here in the booth.
Like, nobody wrote for at least like 3 minutes. I'm like, come on, this song is a classic. Let's see I wonder what they'll go to next.
Hey, I'll endorse anyone not knowing more about Axl Rose than they need to. So,
Of
anyways.
course they're gonna know this one.
Anyways, though, I think overall, thank you, Ethan, for another incredible interview. It's been a lot of fun tonight. We've had a lot of laughs, a lot of good times, some quirky moments even. But
yeah, I just threw my pen across the entire table.
I know.
So we're going to take a look at let's take a look at the women's basketball schedule. You saw it a little bit ago, but we'll see how they stack up this season as we go along. We'll pick out some of our favorite games maybe, Jack. I don't know if you have any favorites on there.
I've always got a favorite game.
But I am circling that Miami game on the calendar as they sort of, and then they've got that home-and-home series with St. Bonaventure I think is going to really be a good test for this team. But, the one game I'm really looking at is January 20th. You want to know why, Jack?
Oh, you know exactly. I know why.
January 20th, they play Youngstown State, and who's coming back to the UPMC Events Center for the first time that day?
The Penguins.
That's correct, but also Megan Callahan, former Robert Morris women's basketball player. And hopefully we'll get to talk to her and see what she's feeling like. But that's the game that I'm really looking at.
You took the words right out of my mouth, but for different reasons. I always talk about Youngstown State, one of my favorite teams to cover solely because of the name. It's so much fun to work it into different analogies. But yeah, January 20th, 22nd, but also that Miami game's a big one. I think that'll be cool.
That's right. They'll be at the Watsco Center for that. And another team that's on campus that we have not talked about at all today, Jack, is men's basketball. Oh, wait, yes, we have. We're going to take a look at their schedules. They've got some pretty important games as they lead up to the regular season. Now, they're going to start off in Central Florida in Orlando. That's a good game to start the season off. And then they've got a week-long MTE multi-team event, and that one game is the biggest game that any team's probably going to play this season, and that is when it's Toole versus Calipari round 3. John Calipari, of course, from Moon Township, Kentucky. They're going there, Rupp Arena, and hopefully Colonial Sports Network is going to be there with them.
I'm just saying, if you've been on RMU's campus for any time since 2015, you've heard about it. It's 2003, mind me. It's It's 2014, 2013. Look, the year doesn't matter. What matters is the legend of this rivalry that has just been birthed, that everyone would love to see come back.
Although I will say, not many people know this, but they did play each other the next season in 2014, like you said, and it wasn't as close. Kentucky
well, here, that's
ran
the
away
thing.
With that
It's just
everybody remembers that game.
You know,
right?
they talk about Super Bowl highs. Well, RMU is really coming off of their like big Kentucky win high. I feel like it's been a long time. They've had some time to recover. Randy Toole's been plotting against John Calipari. My friend actually ran into John Calipari at a Pirates game 2 years ago, but that's not important at all. I think it's going to be a cool game, and I'm also looking forward to the Bowling Green game as well. I gotta think for Bowling Green.
They played last year, and it was a game where they didn't really have their full squad, so we'll see how they stack up. Yeah, it's going to be a special year for men's basketball, as we know, and what a great non-conference schedule to have as they go forward, especially that MTE. It's a week long. It's going to be held. Kentucky gets to play all their games at home, of course, and then, of course, Ohio and the Mount are a part of it. Former NEC for the Mount. Yeah. So, do you want to see more of us, more of Colonial Sports Network?
I don't know why you would, but if you do,
goes to Kentucky potentially in 2 weeks. Well, make sure you head to colonialsportsnetwork.com and follow at RMU_CSN on Twitter and at Colonial Sports Network on our brand new Instagram account. We give you the most in-depth coverage of any outlet on campus or around here of Robert Morris Athletics. Who's out there covering RMU volleyball? No one but us. Yeah, that's right. Of course, you want to go to that site and read all of our articles and watch all of our content. We really got some big things coming up, and really appreciate anyone tuning in tonight that already has been looking at our stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe the next time we're here, I'll actually be inside the studio. It's been a while. The doors are locked every time I go by. I've only been able to host a couple of shows outside. Maybe someone will let me in. But
I think that's actually worked into your contract, Jack. I think they signed and said you cannot do any shows inside.
I didn't remember signing anything. I might have to take up some legal matters on my own hands. But nonetheless, thank you for tuning in. I'm Jack. Thank Ethan as well. God bless him. But thank you, Ethan, for the interviews. Thank you for watching all at home. I'm Jack O'Brien. That's Tyler Gallo. And we'll see you next time on Colonial Sports Center.